Good morning, everybody. And it's a new day, but it's the same time. Okay. So now we're Wednesday morning at 9:30 for book club. We are still doing Captivate, which is a great book, and we're all having a really good time with it. So we're on chapter 5. You don't have to have the book to be on book club. I do understand that Lori got the book since last week, and we're pretty excited about that. There we go. And she was catching up. So that's awesome. So it was kind of a joke. Lori's had the book in her cart on Amazon for a good month now, and just it's that hit submit button that's so hard sometimes. So all right, so I'm going to read chapter 5, and if Lori or Barbara Ann has anything to comment on, they will. And if you get on with us, you can comment too. So here we go. Chapter 5 is Intrigue: How to Be Ridiculously Likable. You guys, I'm not sure we need this chapter. We're already ridiculously likable, but I'll read it. In 2007, Lewis Howes was at the top of his game. As a 6'4" wide receiver for the Arena Football League and an All-American decathlete, Howes was poised to go all the way to the NFL. Then he snapped his wrist on a diving catch, and his dream of professional football was over in a matter of seconds. It wasn't pretty. I was 24 years old, washed up, broke, and sleeping on my sister's couch with my arm in a cast and a mountain of credit card debt staring me in the face, said Howes. Howes had to start a new career track from scratch and accidentally discovered a powerful way to connect with people. In 2008, LinkedIn was a small social media website for business professionals, but Howes saw an opportunity to stay in touch with people in athletics. Even though he could no longer play, he still had a passion for sports. He began to construct his contact list from scratch. Next, he started testing what kind of messages worked best on cold contacts. It was easy to track which messages were working and which were not based on the replies in my LinkedIn box, explained Howes. He found that the most successful messages mentioned at least 3 commonalities he had with the person. I would try to find at least 3 things we shared, usually a mutual connection, a mutual interest, and a mutual organization like a school, league, or sports team, said Howes. These messages were short and to the point. Howes composed a sample for me using this method. Hi, Vanessa. My name is Lewis, and I wanted to reach out because I saw you're also friends with Nick Unken, and we do work with Pencils of Promise together. I'm based in LA and saw you're from here. Do you ever get back in town? Would love to connect. Howes crafted a strategy for his follow-up messages too. I told them I loved their work and wanted to learn from them. I was direct and said, my goal is to learn about you and your success, said Howes. He ended up every interaction with a specific question they could answer. Amazingly, this approach landed Howes phone calls, one-on-one meetings, and mentorships with some of the most powerful people in sports over and over again. One of his most impressive cold messages landed him a meeting with the co-founder of ESPN, Bill Rasmussen. I was this kid with no job and no money, but I reached out to Bill and was able to get a sit-down meeting and an interview him, recalled Howes. After the first year of reaching out to important people and learning from them, Howes hit a turning point. He realized what he was doing wasn't enough. At this point, I understood that I couldn't just take, I had to give. But how do you give to someone like Bill Rasmussen, explained Howes. As his contact list grew, Howes realized he finally had something to offer his connections, his own network. I enjoyed helping people and relished becoming what Malcolm Gladwell calls a connector, said Howes. He asked his VIPs who they wanted to meet and then worked to get them that connection. I would ask people, what's your biggest challenge right now? And then would connect them with at least 3 people who I thought could help. I would literally take out my phone over cups of coffee, make the call, and hand the person my phone, said Howes. Howes also applied the triple threat to all of his interactions without even realizing it, and it worked like a charm. I show people I'm listening to them and only them. I make eye contact, take them in, and pay attention to nothing else, said Howes. By January 2010, his company had over $5 million in sales. Eventually, he sold his business for 7 figures. Now, Howes runs a successful lifestyle blog and podcast called The School of Greatness, where he interviews VIPs, experts, and luminaries on a wide variety of subjects. He uses his connection skills to find the most interesting, remarkable, and fascinating people to interview. I should know I was one of them. Insert self-depreciating laugh here. Yes, he did use the exact template above to reach out to me and be on his podcast. This chapter is about the powerful human behavior principle that makes hows so socially attractive. That's pretty cool, actually. Hang on just a second. I will be right. Okay, mental break. All right, the similarity attraction effect. One night I was having dinner with a few friends when someone pulled a Pilot G2 pen out of her purse to take some notes. My friend Tyler spotted it instantly and asked, "Does your G2 pen have a .7 millimeter tip?" She didn't even have to look. Of course it does. .7 millimeter tips are the only sensible choice for Pilot G2s. Tyler smiled knowingly. "We're going to be friends," he said simply. Now, I'm no pen expert, but according to Tyler, the Pilot G2 .7 millimeter pen is simply the best. So good, in fact, that Tyler not only fiercely guards his against borrowing thieves, but also uses it as a sign. "If someone has a G2 pen, I know we're going to get along," Tyler explains. What's going on here? As humans, we are constantly on the lookout for people who are similar to us. Birds of a feather flock together is a far more accurate cliche than opposites attract. This is called the similarity attraction effect. It says that people like and are attracted to others who are similar rather than dissimilar to themselves. Researchers Dr. Ellen Bershaud and Dr. Elaine Walster believe we enjoy spending time with people who are similar to us for combinations of the following reasons. It's easier to get along with someone who enjoys the same activities and conversation topics. Spouses and friends are more likely to have similar personality types than randomly assigned pairs. When someone agrees with us, it makes us feel less alone and more right in our own opinions. If we can relate to someone strongly, we might be able to better predict their behavior and future decisions, making us feel more in control. We hope that if someone is similar to us, then there is a greater likelihood they will be attracted to us. Like begets like. A like on Facebook or a heart on Instagram or a retweet on Twitter are all digital forms of the similarity attraction effect in action. When you give someone some link love, you're telling them, "I like this too." That is why we're so addicted to checking our social media. We like to know that our friends and followers both like us and are like us. Without realizing it, we're constantly searching for reasons to think, feel, or say, "Me too." In a good meeting or great coffee date, you hear phrases like, "Wow, you like Orange is the New Black? I'm an addict." Or, "You're gluten free? Join the club." "Oh, I love Thailand. Maybe we were there at the same time." I don't think I've ever said that. "Are you kidding? I'm a huge 49ers fan." I know I've never said that. "You're into rock climbing? Me too." Okay. I'm going to have to find different phrases. I'm just saying. Like, "Oh, you like chocolate? Awesome." On the other hand, one of the biggest mistakes I see people make is inadvertently pointing out differences while trying to connect. Whenever you say a version of "not me," you're handicapping your connection from the start. "Not me" phrases sound like this: I never really got into Orange is the New Black. I thought it was kind of boring." "Oh, you're one of those gluten free people? Don't you think it's a fad?" "I'm not a big traveler." "Sports? No, thank you. I'd rather read a book or watch the news." "You're into rock climbing? Not me. I'm afraid of heights." Those kind of "not me" comments tend to push people away and shut down a conversation. Does this mean you constantly have to blindly agree with people you meet? Of course not. But it does mean you have to put effort into searching for real similarities and shared interests. When someone posts something on social media that isn't relevant to you, keep scrolling. You don't share the post with a huffy comment like, "This isn't relevant to me." But we sometimes imply as much in our responses. So if someone mentions they went to a private school growing up, don't say, "Ugh, I hate those preppy kids. I went to good old public school." Instead, note it and resume looking for something you do have in common. You might say, "Interesting. Did you play any sports?" Or, "Wow, I didn't know that. Tell me more." Don't fall into the "not me" trap. Instead, find a way to say "me too." Searching for a "me too."
I have a comment on that.
Okay.
So, the keep scrolling thing, I mean, we all know about that, but I think it's kind of an inherent thing that people do because it drives me crazy when I put something, say in my when when I put something out on my T page, say, and I say, just as an example, it's the samples. Who loves the samples? What did you get? All right. Who loves the samples? If you like them, me too. If you don't, keep scrolling. But what people always do, if you notice, what did you get? I want to hear from the people that got something. I don't want you to comment and tell me why you don't like them or why you didn't buy them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of like a not me type of thing. But I don't know why people respond that way when you're asking for what did you like? Don't tell me you couldn't get on, just as
Right.
easy
What did
as
you like?
this.
What did you get? They were already gone by the time I got there.
Yeah. Or I've spent so much money this month, I couldn't spend any more on that. So I didn't. Okay, that's fine. But that's not what it's like they have to throw the not me in
That
there.
wasn't the question.
But that's kind of like what she's talking about, right? Like the not me. Not
Yeah.
me. I didn't get any.
Yeah. I just think that people just want to be heard, right?
Yeah,
So they do. And sometimes, and a lot of people just honestly don't have it in them to be positive. It's just
you're
not
right.
there. And sometimes just getting to comment even something like, I've already bought so much this month, I don't have any money to buy anything else. To them, in a twisted kind of way, that's positive. They've already bought a lot of stuff. But,
And
and they,
maybe they're looking for likes, for other people to be in the same boat as them, like she talked about.
yeah,
Checking your social media to see who is like you are,
yeah,
That's a good point too. Yeah. They want to see maybe who else is in that same.
yeah, positive is really hard for some people. It's really, and depending on like their living situation, it can be darn near impossible because if things are not positive where they're at, or if nobody's positive with them, sometimes positive just doesn't happen. Some of my team chats are very interesting, and a lot of them have absolutely nothing to do with Tupperware or the team, and that's okay because they're getting to know each other,
Right.
and and that's fine, and that's part of why I like the chat and why I kept my Facebook page. I kept my Facebook page because that stays Tupperware. That stays announcements, sample things, flash sales, stuff like that. The team chat stuff gets buried immediately. Like the week that Brittany had Tyler,
Mm-hmm.
two other ladies on my team had grandsons that week.
They
Let,
did.
let me tell you what did not get posted in that team chat that week. Very, very little Tupperware news. We have pictures of babies all over the place. First outfits, first pictures, first bads, first this, first that.
And that goes along with being alike.
Yeah.
You have something in common, so you're alike, and you're sharing that.
Um, yeah. Keep talking. Just Laura, you've got the book, right?
Want me to read? I'll read.
Yeah. Read that searching for me too. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Okay.
Make sure you mute yourself. Okay. Next is searching for Me Too. My friend Alan Freeman sells raffle tickets at sporting events for charity. He messaged me with an interesting question. Hey, Vanessa, I was wondering if you could use your human behavior knowledge to help me out with something I have been wondering. When I sell raffle tickets at games, I often dress in a suit to be more professional. But recently I've been thinking that I should dress in team colors, maybe my tie or something. Let me know if there is any science to this or you think it is a good idea. Best, Alan. Alan's intuition was absolutely right. We like people who look like us. One study found that we are more likely to help people who are dressed like us. Someone dressed casually is more likely to help someone else who is also dressed casually over someone in a business suit. This is counterintuitive. One would think that someone in a business suit would be helped more often, period. Not so. I advised Alan to not only wear the team's colors, but also to dress exactly like the fans he was trying to sell to. Jeans, jersey, sneakers, hat, and all. Guess what? He immediately began to sell more raffle tickets. This is the similarity attraction effect in action. We just we don't just have a soft spot for people who look like us. We are also drawn to people who think like us. There is an admittedly terrible and addictive MTV show that I watch for work to observe human behavior. Are You the One is a reality show where 10 men and 10 women are brought into a house to find their soulmate. But of course, there's a catch. Each of the contestants has taken a battery of personality tests with love experts who have picked one ideal mate for them. Their goal is to find their ideal match from the batch of singles. I watched that show actually. I know what she's talking about. It was good. In season 3, two of the singles, Connor Smith and Kayla Brackett, tried to get a feel for their compatibility. Here's how that conversation goes. Note the constant searching for similarity. Kayla, I want someone who is close to their family. Connor, I'm a total mama's boy, but can you keep someone's attention? Kayla, are you kidding me? That is all me. I whip my man into shape. That's my thing. Connor, that's what I ask for. Kayla, I want someone who is big and strong because I like to feel protected. Note, Connor is over 6'5" and calls himself the gentle giant. Connor, I always want to sleep on the side of the bed closest to the door. Kayla, oh, good. I like to be closer to the wall. Summary, you're like me. I like what you like. I like you. We engage in the exact same behavior as Connor and Kayla, even in non-romantic situations. We do it with potential clients, aligning interests and work methods. We do it with new friends, comparing music taste and weekend activities. We even do it in line with strangers, commiserating over the long wait. That is absolutely true. You can hack the similarity attraction effect for your benefit with what I call hack number 5, thread theory. Find and follow threads of similarity, be more socially attractive.
So I really am happy for Kayla and Connor because they have the whole which side of the bed thing are you going to sleep on, because that can be an issue. That can be a biggie.
Right. Closest to the door is the protector.
Yep. Yep.
Right. That's so true what she says about we do that I do that when I make new friends. I'm like, can I be friends with that person? Like, what do they like to do? What am I seeing on social media? I do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I think everybody does. Yeah, and it even does go to how they're dressed when you first meet them. Like, I yeah, if somebody is really really dressed up, I'm like,
not approachable.
not not who I'm gonna hang with, because yeah.
But just not maybe, but then looks can be deceiving too.
Well, it depends on where you're at. I mean, or if somebody's just come from work or something, I'm a little cooler. But if it's like Saturday afternoon, yeah. If it's Saturday afternoon, I need jeans and a comfortable shirt. I'm sorry.
Hmm. Do you want to read hack 5?
Sure.
Okay.
Hack 5, thread theory. Find and follow threads of similarity to be more socially attractive. Every interaction should be about finding threads of commonalities. Every thread that binds you brings you closer to a person. The more threads you have, the more socially attractive you become. Here's how you can use thread theory to connect with the people you meet instantly. Step 1, search for threads. Thread theory is the ultimate tool for opening any conversation. Whether you're cold calling, emailing a new contact, or meeting someone for the first time, the thread theory can help you blast through the dialogue door. Imagine that each person is walking around carrying a big knotted ball of string. All of these strings are their thoughts, ideas, and opinions. We often wish our thoughts were more organized, but they're usually in a jumble, especially when we first walk into an event. We might be thinking about our to-do list, our parking meter, what we want for dinner, that good-looking person across the room, our neck ache, where to hang our coat. You get the idea. So we're all walking around carrying this mass of thoughts. The thread theory is an incredibly easy way to both open conversations and never run out of things to say. When you first begin an interaction, I want you to try to tease out some thoughts you both share. The more threads you share, the more you'll be able to talk about, and the more ridiculously likable you will be. There are 3 main categories of commonalities you can pull from at any time. People. Mutual contacts are the best way to find threads of similarity. You can also liven up the conversation by searching for mutual friends. Context. Think you don't have anything in common? Think about the context of your meeting. Maybe you're both on LinkedIn or both at the same conference. All you have to do is to ask about it. Good Lord. All you have to do is ask about it to get the conversational ball rolling or learn to read. Interests. Common interests are the best kind of threads because they introduce a topic you both invariably know a lot about. Ripe territory for great stories and interesting conversation. Here are a few openers and ideas for tapping into each type of commonality. People. How do you know the host? I saw we're mutually connected through. I saw you speaking up. Have you known each? Oh, so I thought you were speaking to somebody. Have you known each other very long? So the possible threads with those are: you work at Tupperware. Do you know Pam Clift? Uh, you went to Stowe School. Do you know Lori Morris? You didn't go to Stowe though, did you? Let's
It's
see.
all right. That's good.
Are you a friend of the bride or groom? That could be a disastrous thing.
True.
Okay. All right. Context openers. How long have you been a part of this group? Which goes to, do you usually come to these types of events? This is a great venue, right? Have you ever been to this conference event before? How long have you been living here? I also saw you're part of the LinkedIn group or the interests. I love your pen, keychain, bumper sticker, shirt, hat. I'm also a fan of. How long have you been a fan? Okay, let's see. I'm a fellow member of Girl Scouts. How long have you been apart? What are you up to this weekend? Now, how does that go from one to the other?
That doesn't correlate.
That does not flow. That
Or
does,
unless it's I'm a fellow member of the church. How long have you been a part of it? Like, maybe like that. I don't know.
I don't know, but if you're a fellow member of the church, what you're up to this weekend ought to be going to church.
I know that's
So
I was trying to think of similarities. That's why I said church. Like, what do you do on the weekends? You go to church.
you go to church. Okay. I saw you also went to or studied at or are a part of. Wasn't that speaker interesting? Raffle, interesting. Okay. It probably makes more sense in the conversation.
Mhm.
We're going to go there. These thread theory questions can be used in groups, with new people, and even in emails and cold messages. Every time you discover a common thread, it links you together. You might have noticed that some of these thread theory questions are also my favorite conversation sparkers. That's no coincidence. Simple questions can lead you to exciting conversational territory when you ask strategically and follow up with good listening. If you ask one of these questions and don't find a similarity, it's totally okay. For example, if someone says, I don't know her, or nope, never been here before, no worries, use that as an opener. You can say, yeah, it's a pretty big school. I think she studied political science. What did you study? Or, me neither. Do you have any favorite local watering holes you go to? Every answer you hear is one more step in getting to know them and being further along in conversation. Don't let it phase you, let it fuel you. I like that.
Yeah, and I was thinking, if you start talking to new people and they say, "Nope, don't know her. No, didn't go to that school. Yeah, I've never been here before."
Uh,
After like the third or fourth, you're like, okay, now what do I say?
Excuse me, do
If
you eat?
somebody,
Yeah.
yeah, if someone isn't engaging, it can phase you.
Yeah. And
That's
some
what you
people just aren't interested in conversation, but yeah. But by that point, they're usually going, I have to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. Yeah.
right, exactly.
Be on the lookout for physical examples of similarities too. For example, if you notice someone's USC keychain, you can say, Go Trojans. Or if someone is driving a car you like, you can comment, I was thinking about buying that car. How do you like it? It can even be as simple as noticing what someone is drinking. The red wine isn't bad, huh? That's an interesting conversation. Making conversation has never been so easy. 83% of our Twitter poll voters said that they overthink what they say. That's probably very true.
Yes.
Okay, so step 2, follow the thread. The thread theory is not about simply pointing out similarities, it's about exploring them. Once you've found a common thread, you can make it stronger by following it. How do you follow a thread? Easy. Ask for why. Revolutionary Japanese inventor, yeah, founded Toyota Motor Company in 1937. He's also known for his innovative managerial techniques, one of which is called the Whys. Toyota employees use the 5 Whys to problem solve and get to the bottom of issues. This technique is now used across industries to quickly and effectively find solutions and root causes of problems. You might use the 5 Whys to figure out why a colleague is late on a project. Why? I couldn't get the numbers on time. Why? I didn't know the right person to talk to. Why? I've never worked with that department before. Why? I usually go through my manager. Why? Interdepartmental communications only go through managers, which causes a bottleneck. Root cause. Sounds like a conversation with a 2-year-old.
It certainly does. Remember when the kids used to do that? Why?
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 Why? It could go on forever.
I know. Of course, in day to day conversations, you can't ask why over and over again. But you can get a conversation to go much deeper, much faster if you use the spirit of the 5 Whys. When you find a commonality, don't let it pass by. Ask the other person why it's important to them. When you stumble upon a similarity, don't jump to the next topic. Take it a step further and find out how they got started. If you hear a shared interest, don't let it hang without comment. Dig a little deeper. Let's say, through the thread theory, you find out the person you are speaking with is also an entrepreneur. If you follow that thread, you get a much deeper interaction. Why did you decide to become an entrepreneur? Them. I always wanted to start my own business. You. That's interesting. Why did that appeal to you? Them. I really wanted flexibility and freedom in work hours, and I knew I could never get that with a boss. You. I feel the same way. Why were you looking for more flexibility? Them. I love to travel, so I wanted to be able to work from anywhere. You. That's wonderful. I'm also a huge traveler. I just came back from Chile. Why do you love to travel? Them. I've been dying to go to Chile. Do you know I think I love travel so much? I think it's because it's so important to get out of your comfort zone and learn from people around the world. You. That's so true. I've met the most interesting people on my travels. Why do you think being out of our comfort zone is so important? Them. Good question. I guess I think true happiness comes from trying new things, seeing new things, experiencing new things. How about you? What do you think happiness comes from? This is a synthesized version of the kind of robust, deep conversation that comes when you ask more whys. Why gets you beyond small talk into an exploration of motivations, dreams, and interests, and every why helps you find more threads. In this way, the thread theory ensures you'll never run out of things to talk about, nor will you ever have to be worried that you won't have something to say. Just search for the commonality and follow the thread with why. I just wanted to go back and look what that fast fact box was. We had
Oh, yeah.
we had 1,049 participants tell us who they have the hardest time communicating with. As you can see, we all have someone we have a hard time communicating with, and the results are all over the board. You can use the thread theory with anyone in your life to make communication easier. Who is your person? How can you find a tie with them? So 23% of the people have the hardest time communicating with their partner. That's very interesting.
And then 25% with a friend.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to find another friend if you can't communicate with them.
Huh. Only 5% have a hard time communicating with their children. That's because they just tell them what they think.
And they don't have teenagers.
Or they still just tell them what they think.
Do you know what this is like kind of trying to get like finding, I guess it's kind of like a common interest or something, you know, and you've done it. You've had 5 kids. When they come home from school, I always say, did you have a good day at school? And she'll say, yeah, it was okay, or it rocked, or it was so fun. And then I always say, and it seems to work, and she doesn't pick up on it, but I'll say, what was your favorite thing about today? And she's like, oh, when we were, you know, Jeremy had crutches on and he fell in the hallway, stuff like that, but I always
I
say
love
that
her.
now.
That would have been my favorite thing too.
Yeah, exactly. But I always ask her that. And every day it opens up a conversation of some sort,
Yeah.
But it's just not asking the norm. Now, going back to like, she's saying why all the time, that would feel like an interrogation. I feel like if I was having a conversation with someone and you kept asking me, well, why? So I was looking at that. You could take the why off and just say, do you love to travel? You
Yeah.
know, Do you think it's important to get out of the comfort zone? The why, I feel like you're in a counseling session or something. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's
Like,
crazy.
why do you think you can't keep a marriage together? Or why do you think your children are bad? Or I don't know. It seems
Yeah.
more like an interrogation. After about the fourth one, I would be looking at them like,
Why do you
why
want to
are you
know?
asking?
Yeah. Why do you want to know?
Why do you keep asking me why?
We're going to go from why to what's it to you?
What, why is it your business?
Yeah.
I don't know. It just seems a little intrusive over
Why
and
are you
over.
in my face? Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
People watch this, we're going to be in trouble, Lloyd. They're never going to, Ellen will make sure she's on from now on. They two of them cannot do this together.
Oh, man.
Okay, so the number 3, create ties. The last step of the thread theory is optional and reserved only for special interactions. When you're having a really great discussion and clicking with someone, you can take your connection to the next level by using your common threads to tie you together. Let's look at how Lewis Howes did this. After he searched for commonalities and followed the threads he found, he asked people what they needed and how he could help. In other words, he tied his abilities to their needs. When you say, "You have a problem, I'm going to help you fix it," you create the ultimate similarity. Every time you offer help, support, and advice, you create a deeper bond with someone and a permanent similarity. Most of the time, opportunities to help people find solutions come up organically. You hear someone has a need and you know you can help. Here are some examples. Since you're new in town, I can send you a list of my favorite local restaurants. I'm sure I know someone in that industry. Connect with me on LinkedIn and I can introduce you. I frequently get extra tickets to the game. I'll text you next time. It sounds like that's a real problem. Let's set up a consult call and I'll see if my company can help. Yeah, going vegan is so hard. I have a few recipes I can send you. If nothing comes up during a conversation, you can also end with a tie. I typically end most of my great meetings with a single question. Can I help you with anything? This is my favorite thread theory question. Not only does it give me a chance to create a tie, but I also usually end up learning something new about them. It's a tiny hack that goes a long way. In fact, every step of thread theory is others oriented in that it helps people untangle their own bundles of thoughts. I'm reading that again because I chopped it
That
up.
makes no sense to me.
That's because of the way I read it. Hang on just a second. In fact, every step of thread theory is others oriented in that it helps other people untangle their own bundles of thoughts. That's the way I should have said it. For example, going through the 5 whys with a friend can help them figure out why things aren't working at their job. Following a thread with a partner could help you both figure out vacation plans. Remember, since step 3 of the thread theory is optional, you actually have to mean it when you use it. Don't offer help you can't give. Don't make hollow promises. Create ties only with people who you genuinely want to be connected to. Bonus, teach me. What if you can't find a thread? What if there are no authentic opportunities for me too? Lewis Howes frequently interviews experts on his podcasts in new areas of businesses or life. When he can't say me too, he says, teach me. This produces incredible content for his listeners and deep connections between him and his experts. If someone mentions something that you don't know about or are unfamiliar with, ask for more information. Teach me is still a thread. Here are some ways you can make Teach Me a thread. I've never heard of that book. What's it about? What an interesting career. I've never met anyone in your line of work before. Tell me about it. I've actually never been out of the country, but would love to travel more. Have any insider tips for a beginner? Bottom line, Me Too and Teach Me are two of the most powerful and underutilized phrases we have. Use them whenever possible. So here are the challenges from this chapter. Next time you talk to someone, try finding 3 commonalities in the first 3 minutes. Practice asking why 5 times and see if you learn something new. Create a tie by asking a colleague or friend if you can help them with anything. So I get that that would be interesting, like even with talking to people, obviously, about what we do, which is Tupperware. Um, if you find 3 things you have in common, like if you have, like with you, if you had teenagers in common, you know, you could talk about how nice it would be to be able to meal prep to the point where you had more time with the actual child,
Mhm.
or meal prepping with them on Sunday afternoon after the football game, so that you could do it together. Like one of the things I did with my kids, which Ellen thinks is funny, but it's worked out really well, was I taught them all to make one really good side dish. And they all still know how to make that one really good side dish. So if we're going to get together, which we don't do much anymore just because of kids and exes and people having to be where they have to be. But if we're all going to get together at the same time, they all know to bring that side dish and we have a complete meal and everybody knows how to make it right the way everybody wants to eat it. Like they're not allowed to play with it.
That's cool. That's
if
cool.
if we didn't make it when you were a kid with mushrooms, don't screw with it. Because that's the way we like to eat it.
That's good.
But, and it's kind of like their thing.
I like
So, yeah, Serenity makes an orange juice cake that is to die for.
Oh, what
It,
kind of cake?
orange juice. It's an orange juice cake. It's an orange juice bundt cake.
Is it just a cake mix with orange juice, like we make
No,
our pressure cooker or our
no, it
pressure
takes
cooker cakes?
it takes 2 days to make, and it has this glaze over the top that has to. It's absolutely wonderful.
Really?
And it probably has 9,000 grams of sugar in every bite. But
Oh, it sounds wonderful.
yeah, it's really good. It is. It's really good. But but you can find common threads with people. I think all the time, almost anybody that wants to find a common thread. Also, now there are just some people that they don't want to play. You know,
Right. Right. And you can't do anything with those people.
but most people, I think, if you try hard enough, but you have to be willing to try. And sometimes those are the people that it ends up being like the most productive, because if you can draw them out of that nobody likes me, everybody hates me thing,
Hmm.
they turn out to be pretty nice people. But yeah.
I agree.
So, all right, let's see.
That was a
Chapter
short,
review.
that
What?
was a short chapter,
Well,
wasn't
you
it?
know, it's quarter after 10. So,
And look at the next one. You could do, why don't you do the first 5 hours? It just goes to,
oh, it's a page.
it's
Okay.
a page.
We'll do chapter review real quick.
Okay.
Okay, the more you have in common with someone, the more likable you become. We like people like us. The thread theory is an easy way to captivate attraction by simply searching for shared interests, activating why, asking why, and then offering help. Always be on the lookout for ways to say me too. Don't overthink what you're going to say, just search for commonalities. Go deeper by asking the 5 whys. Tie yourself to someone by making their problem yours. I really think that overthinking thing is a big deal, because when you overthink what you're going to say, you have that conversation in your head before you ever have it. Like, you think about what you're going to say, and then you think about what they're going to say, and then you think about what you're going to have to say, and then before you're all done, you think, I'm not going to say
That
anything.
goes with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, yeah, just get it out there.
Just get it out there.
Okay, the first 5 hours. This is part two. We're in part two of the book.
Oh my.
Woohoo! All right. Dr. Mike Cruz is the new head of the ER at All Saints Hospital in Manhattan. He's headstrong, direct, and a little intimidating. Dr. Cruz needs the support of his staff in turning the All Saints ER into a premier trauma center. But shaking up systems and changing protocols has led to an all out battle with longtime doctors and nurses. Finally, a sympathetic nurse, Zoe, goes into his office with a pink notebook. It's kind of like a passport, she explains. It's a map to the people who work for you. Dr. Cruz eyes it suspiciously as Zoe continues. It has their birthdays, anniversaries, things that make them sad, things that make them happy, who cries when a patient dies, who makes a joke and then cries in private. It's the things you need to know. Dr. Cruz flips through the book half heartedly. Finally, he asks, "Why are you giving this to me?" Zoe tries again to explain. "You expect us to be good at our job. We expect the same from you." The scene appears in Nurse Jackie, season 4, episode 10. Handle your scandal. In part 2, you'll get a map to navigate people much like the one Nurse Zoe gave Dr. Cruz. a guide to decoding, understanding, and predicting behavior. Nurse Zoe calls it a people passport. I call it your matrix. This section will help you solve puzzles like how do you speed read someone? How do you predict someone's behavior? How can you prevent miscommunication? While part one helped you hack the first 5 minutes of an interaction, this section will help you take your connection one step further. How do you get to the next date? How do you nail the next interview? How do you make a deeper connection in your next meeting? This section will help you advance your relationship during the first 5 hours.
That's cool.
It is
I'm gonna
cool.
make an effort before next Wednesday to go back and highlight like what parts of that I just listened to.
Yeah. So and I think like, well, usually whenever the people on my team, I have this is great. If you guys are listening to this, here we go. The people on my team, I have note cards on them so that like I know things. Some of them have their birthdays or their kids, or if there's certain dates that I need to watch for them. Just things
That's a good
that,
idea.
yeah, sometimes it's stuff that they put out there right away, and sometimes if they've been on my team a long time, it's stuff that I've realized over the course of. Um, I have things on the note cards like whether or not they obviously appreciate my sense of humor or whether I need to dial it back. 'Cause
You're not for everybody.
no, I'm not. It's an acquired taste. So, but actually, if you go slow, they all kind of get there.
Right.
But yeah. So anyway, well, good, Brian. I'm glad you got on. I hope that we can get more people on the Wednesday morning thing.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have to promote that. Let
Yeah,
everybody
I
know.
put it out there this morning at like 9 o'clock, but
Oh,
I couldn't find the picture with the book for the Captivate. I know there was one because I remember seeing it, but I couldn't find it.
you could take a picture of your own book.
I could have taken a picture, but that didn't happen. So yeah. Why? Because I didn't think about it. Why? Because I was thinking about other things. Why? Because I had a lot going
Why?
on in my head.
Why are you so busy today?
Why do you care?
Because I'm nosy. Why are you asking me? That could be fun.
There you go. You're with the right person. Otherwise, it could be really annoying.
Exactly.
Do a selfie holding the book.
Do what?
Do a selfie holding the book.
Oh,
Just
yeah,
selfie
take
holding
a
the book.
picture.
See, I am like the least selfie person in the world, honestly.
That's why I said that.
I don't do selfies. I don't even like to be in pictures necessarily. So I am
Huh.
going to stop this recording.